Hello and welcome to From the Mic Stand here on our Secos. We've seen Midland Railway play an amazing set live. Now it's going to chat some about the band and what they've been up to lately. So for all our new listeners out there, just want to tell us a bit about the band and you guys.
Okay, so well, we did our first ever gigs back in 2004. That was the band was very very different back then because we were a lot younger.
Different people.
Different people. Well, I wasn't. I was still me, but albeit a younger, probably much less mature version of me. But still, we got the band back together in 2021, and we thought we had a bunch of songs that we thought were quite good, to get them recorded properly, and they were the new recordings were really really well received generally, and then so that sort of made us want to do more, and then we kept on recording and playing some live gigs, and we ended up recording what's now become our debut album, which came out at the start of this year, which has mostly been received really really well. It's been a long time in the making, and with the way we've gone about recording it, it almost certainly isn't how we would have planned it if in a way, because we worked with
if we had planned
well, it was planned in a way, but not just not in a. We didn't really know what we were doing for a lot of it, and we worked with lots of different producers who were really good in different ways. But then we had to try and make it all actually sound like an album that fitted together, and I mean, yeah, it was a lot of work, but we got there. It felt great to actually be able to actually put it out, and it's been in the main really really well received, and. So we've sort of, so that's been one of the most exciting things that's happened in the history of the band, I would say, actually. But then, and since then we've played a few more gigs and we've been working on some new stuff. And start of August, we've got our EP coming out, which is of our really really early recordings. That it didn't really feel like they quite fitted the album, because they were. The songs are just a bit different in feel and the production quality. Well, they were recorded a long time ago and they sound like it. And they're really, really important parts of the band's story so far. Yeah. So it's almost like it brings the band's back catalogue back up to date on the sort of digital platforms that we're out on now. And then after that, we'll be in a position to go and release some new stuff that we're quite excited to be releasing. So
what are some of the artists that have influenced your sound, would you say?
So, I have some very different influences when it comes to music and lyrics. I mean, there's some crossover, but I mean, in terms of sound, I mean, a lot of most of my favorite bands are sort of they're like they have a bit of a sort of punk rock energy, but they're not like proper punk enough for like the really punk crowd. And they have melodies, but they're not but they're too noisy for a lot of the indie crowds, and they sort of fit in the sort of punk indie rock kind of triangle somewhere. Right. So Weezer are one of my absolute favorites. I mean The Offspring were one of my favorite bands growing up, and I met Sarah through our mutual love of the band Therapy.
Right. Mentioned.
So. Yeah, so, but I like a lot of my favourite lyricists. I don't know. I guess I like lyricists that can make you like feel things. And so I mean, Conor Burst from Brightside is one of my absolute favourites. Another is Stephen Merritt from the Magnetic Fields, and I mean they both write fantastic. They're both fantastic songwriters when it comes to melodies, and as well I think sometimes great lyricists, the quality of the melodies that they come up with gets overlooked, I think, but. But I guess it's interesting because the crowd that tend to like my favorite lyricists often aren't fans of my favorite sort of bands in terms of music arrangement and sound. But so yeah, I guess I don't know if in a way the dream would be to somehow combine like my favorite sound with my favorite with some really good lyrics, but that's probably kind of ambitious. But I like, I guess I don't know, but it's kind of enjoying what we're doing at least.
So when you're writing things yourself, do you write alone or do you write as a band, or how does it all come
I
together?
think you mainly write the lyrics yourself, don't you? I can't write songs
Right.
to save my life. But then when you bring it to the rest of us, you've got your chord structures there, and then
Usually, having said that,
time.
there have been that. What I quite like is that there hasn't been just one method through the different
No.
songs.
No.
Like in that, and in a way, I think that's quite important if you want to come up with songs that sound and really feel properly different to each other. To try different ways of writing them, I think can be really, really important. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because the vast majority of songwriters that I've ever met come up with the music first and then come up with the lyrics. Whereas I find to do it the other way around. That seems to work better for me. Sometimes but then when I've got the lyrics and I come up with a melody to fit it, the melody almost highlights particular lyrics within a song. And sometimes then I have to change things around to make it highlight the words that I really wanted to highlight. I mean, let's see. There's a few. I mean, just to think of a few songs on the album, like Involuntary Counselor, which we didn't play tonight, but that one, that was a riff that Rob, our bandmate in the early years of the band, came up with, and I came
Still
up.
our bandmate.
Well, he lives up in Scotland now.
He's
so.
not left.
He lives up in Scotland, so his appearances on stage with us are very, very rare.
He's a silent partner.
He still does help us with creative ideas as well, actually. But he came up with the riff, and I came up with the vocal melody and the words, and and General Stability that we played tonight. That was an unusual. That's kind of an outlier within the way that the songs were written. Where my friend Layla actually wrote some words, and I was like, these are really good. These need a melody, and I came up with a melody for it, and the song went from there. So it's there's no one.
No, there's no one person writing.
At the same time, I did have this sort of purple patch of just where in the space of just a few weeks, I managed to write quite a few of the most popular songs on the album, and that was within and that was just all my own, and I couldn't find anyone who wanted to play them with me. It was while Midland Railway were in a bit of a hiatus. So
and some of the themes are quite out there. How do you decide from those?
Nick has a lot of ex-girlfriends. Reminded us with probably 80% of our material.
the problem is that's not so useful now because my love life's much more stable and undramatic and doesn't really create the songwriting material that it used to. So
You have to take womanizing off your band biography.
So no, my kind of long-term girlfriend Lizzie, she actually inspired. She loves Ted Bundy due to her Ted Bundy obsession. So I mean that one actually that came about just from it was just I was just kind of, it was a bit of banter really. I was just making fun of her about how writes a song about her Ted Bundy obsession, and then I thought, it's like, okay, this might actually work quite well. This as an actual song rather than just a joke.
Yeah. Well, then me and you, we've known each other for what, 15?
Yeah.
15
No, that was right.
years.
Yeah.
So me and Nick met playing Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, right.
So there's a lot of nerd influences there.
Yeah.
So you got the Pokemon Adventure, but we've got something up our sleeve.
we have, yes, we have. I wrote a beautiful song all about Warhammer. And yeah, we need to get into the studio and record that as soon as possible.
But yeah, we've got a lot of out there nerdy.
So I guess I just try to write stuff about things that I'm interested in, and it's always nice to be able to write a song about something that you enjoy and just will make people feel good if they like, I suppose whether it's a subject matter that they're into or not. And well, the newest song that we played tonight, of course, was Unwavering Optimism, and that one. That's in a way that's quite an interesting one for me, I think, because a lot of the lyrics I write are really, really specific, and a lot of songwriters deliberately make the lyrics quite vague so that people kind of add their own interpretation. Whereas I tend to go the other way and almost try to make things really, really specific because it kind of brings them to life a bit more. I think sometimes the little details make it makes it feel like a real thing, not just not some kind of really abstract concept that you're trying to convey. But with that one, I kind of avoided. I felt like I'd got into a bit of a rut where I wasn't writing anything that I was really happy with. And I thought maybe I'm trying to be too sort of, maybe I'm overthinking everything, and I'm going to try and just write something that's just a bit more.
Not generic's the wrong word.
No,
Isn't it?
yeah, it's not generic, but it's just a little, but a bit less specific.
Universal.
Yeah.
But just a little bit less almost just less overthought, less overcomplicated,
Right.
and actually, there's someone who I play in a tribute band with actually. He teaches music, and he tells the students to try writing songs where because a lot of songwriters tend to kind of totally overdo the intros, and it's quite a common novice songwriter mistake, I think. And he's like, he challenges them to just write a song where the song just comes straight in from the start. So I thought I'll try that, and then Kat and Billy, who was our drummer at the time, came up with a really with a sort of way of building up to it, which totally works. And then we were like, okay, it doesn't just go straight in anymore, but it kind of it's funny how, but in a way that's kind of. I think it's important to embrace that, though, the way that you can come up with an idea and then other members of your band might take it. They might take it in a direction you hadn't planned at all, and if it works, then that can be way better than what you ever thought it would be.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's been a couple of years since you've been on the show. So what have been some of your highlights recently then?
Tonight being back on the show, obviously. I mean,
Feeling laid back.
Seriously, it is really good to be back actually, because we really enjoyed the previous performances down here in Macclesfield. So it was really good to be back. Last summer we got to play our biggest gig so far, where we got to play it on the big stage at Manchester Academy 2, and that was part of a festival to celebrate 200 years of the university, and that was very cool. And back in 2004, I think if someone had told me I was going to have to wait 20 years to play our biggest gig so far, that would have seemed like a really crazy something, because that's not how it's meant to work. But we got, it was last year that we played our biggest gig ever, and then we signed our first record deal at the start of this year and released our first album this year. And I don't know, it's it's not the conventional sort of time that it takes to get.
So who's the record deal with?
We're signed to this Australian label called Golden Robot Records, and they're digital distribution sort of platform. So it's hopefully people around the world will get to hear us a bit more easily than maybe they would have done otherwise.
And there are the gigs coming up that people can see you
at? We're playing a sort of short run of festivals coming up. So let's see. Next weekend we're at Bickerstock in Beckerstaff, which is kind of between Wigan and Liverpool, but a bit further north, and maybe near Southport. That sort of area. That's on the Sunday next weekend. We're off to
Blackpool.
Yes, we're playing the Rebellion Festival over in Blackpool.
Oh, yeah.
We're not playing it. We're playing at the Fringe, which is better. So that's an well, it is. I mean, because we're there. We're playing at the Alt3 Cafe, which is a fantastic little venue.
Great venue.
Yeah, it's a really cool little place. Even if you can't make it to the gig, I'd recommend checking out that. And then we're off to maybe the most beautiful town in the country. We're off to play in Bridgnorth in Shropshire,
right,
which is also the northern terminus of the Severn Valley Railway. So thematic for that, and it's got a cliff railway, which is very cool. So, but as well as that, we're playing at the Bridgnorth Festival, which is something that we're very excited to be doing. It's quite a well-established little festival down there, actually. So that's on the 24th. It's on the 24th of
Bank holiday.
Of August. Yeah, and then we might be playing in Middlewich, which is much closer to here. That's on the Saturday the 30th. Yeah, that's not completely confirmed yet, so we'll have to see. But people can, if any of you watching, if you want to keep track of where we're playing, and then just follow our social media, which is at Midland Railway Band on Facebook and Instagram, and then all the places where we're playing, they'll be on there.
Yeah.
But
And just want to remind people what else you got coming up. You've got the EP as well.
Yeah, so that's on. Is it the 7th of August or it's the 8th of August? I think. Does that sound right? It's the Friday.
That would be the it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm impressed you know that. Yeah. Friday the 8th of August is the release date for our so it's called the Late Arrivals EP. It's a collection of our very, very, very early recordings, which were sort of they came before the album, so they didn't really fit on the album, but they're an really important part of the band's history. They also, I don't think you ever met him, Kat, but our former bandmate David is on there. He passed away in 2018. So, and those 3 recordings have him doing drumming and playing backing vocals on them. So it's nice that all these years after he's passing, but he's
represented every
Yeah.
day.
yeah. But he's actually on this recording,
Yes.
which is, I think, a next level.
It's a single David.
Yeah, but that doesn't play anything.
Plays with your emotions, staring.
Well, thanks for coming on and
No, you're
sharing your
welcome.
music
Yeah.
and chatting, and thanks for doing the show.
No, thank you ever so much for having us.